If you're tired of running fuel cleaners through your tank and seeing zero difference, you're not alone. I've been there too. The truth is, most over-the-counter additives are weak once diluted across a full tank. But a direct on-rail cleaning kit changes everything. It's the method I wish I'd known years ago when I was chasing poor mileage and rough idle issues on my own car. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Most people believe a simple pour-in additive can clean clogged injectors. But the real reason these products often fail might surprise you. Inside every modern engine, fuel injectors act almost like precision paint sprayers. Each injector releases gasoline in a fine, controlled mist, timed down to milliseconds. That mist has to be uniform, or the engine's air-fuel mixture goes off balance. Even the tiniest carbon deposit along the injector tip can throw off that spray pattern, forcing droplets instead of vapor. When that happens, combustion becomes uneven, and you start noticing things like sluggish acceleration, higher fuel use, or that rough idle that seems to appear out of nowhere. Now here's where the common fuel additive starts to lose the fight. When you pour a cleaner into the fuel tank, it quickly mixes with gallons of gasoline. That means the detergent concentration becomes extremely low by the time it reaches the injectors. The cleaner travels in one direction, fuel pump to rail to injector, so it rarely stays in contact with the sticky carbon for more than a split second. The chemistry behind cleaning requires time and strength. Dilution and constant flow work against both. Drivers often expect results after one bottle, maybe two. Some keep adding a new one with every tank, hoping the next dose will clear things up. Take one driver who spent months adding cleaner every few fill-ups trying to fix rough idle on a 10-year-old sedan. The mileage barely moved, and idle still trembled at stoplights. That's because once carbon hardens on the injector's tiny openings, the low-potency cleaner can't chemically break it down. It simply polishes the surface around it. According to fuel system specialists, even minor flow disruptions through those openings can raise fuel consumption by several %. That doesn't sound like much until you realize it multiplies over thousands of miles each year. And while these additives can slow further buildup, they rarely undo damage that's already done. They're preventative maintenance tools, not restoration tools, no matter what the label promises. What's really happening inside your engine is a matter of flow physics. As gasoline moves across an injector, pressure keeps climbing and pushing the cleaner along before it can stay and react. In professional repairs, the process is intentionally flipped. A strong solvent replaces fuel entirely, reaching the injectors at full concentration and controlled pressure. That's the difference between washing a window with a mist bottle and using a pressure washer aimed directly at the grime. One spreads cleaner everywhere, the other focuses it exactly where it's needed. So if you've been relying on tank additives hoping for a miracle fix, you may already know the disappointment. The good news is, a more direct method exists, one that doesn't involve pulling the injectors at all. In the next part, you'll see how mechanics use an on-rail cleaning system to push a specialized solution straight through the injectors themselves, delivering a deep, professional-level clean right in your driveway. Mechanics don't always pull injectors for cleaning. Sometimes they use a special kit that connects straight to your engine. Here's how it works. This system, often called an on-rail or pressurized injector cleaning kit, attaches directly to the engine's fuel rail. It completely bypasses the fuel tank and pump, so the cleaner doesn't have to travel through the entire fuel system. Instead of relying on a weak mixture diluted in gasoline, the injectors get hit with full-strength cleaning solvent under controlled pressure, the same way professionals do it in their shops. The process begins with a crucial safety step, releasing pressure from the fuel system. Most vehicles keep their fuel lines pressurized even when the engine is off, so before connecting the kit, you have to relieve that pressure either through the Schrader valve on the fuel rail or by starting the engine and pulling the fuel pump relay until it stalls. Once the line is safe to open, the relay stays out to disable the fuel pump completely. Leaving it connected can force fuel into the system while the cleaner is flowing, and that can create both pressure spikes and fire hazards. After isolating the pump, the canister of cleaning solvent comes into play. It's filled with a concentrated chemical blend strong enough to dissolve carbon buildup and varnish. The canister connects directly to the fuel rail fitting using an adapter hose, and then it's pressurized with compressed air. The air supply acts as the driving force that pushes the solvent through the injectors once the engine is started. The goal is to run the engine entirely on the cleaner for the duration of the process, usually 10 to 15 minutes. Here's where attention to detail matters. Every vehicle has a normal operating fuel pressure, often listed in the manual or on diagnostic data. The canister's pressure regulator must be set about 5 psi lower than that number. That small gap prevents the cleaner from overstressing injector seals or forcing fluid past internal valves. Too much pressure can cause leaks or even internal damage, while too little pressure prevents proper atomization through the injector nozzles. When everything's connected and running, it's easy to tell the cleaner has taken over. The exhaust note changes slightly, often deepening for a few minutes as the solvent burns instead of gasoline. You might notice faint smoke from the tailpipe as carbon deposits break apart and burn off. Inside the canister, the clear cleaning solution gradually darkens or loses color as contaminants dissolve. As the canister starts to empty, the engine runs smoother and the RPM steadies, a sign the buildup is clearing and the spray pattern has been restored. Most of the time, the entire process is done in under 30 minutes, yet it delivers the same results as a full injector bench cleaning. Once you've done it once, it's easy to see why many technicians rely on this approach. The next part shows how to recognize when your cleaning is actually complete, using subtle changes in sound, exhaust, and fuel response as your guide. So how do you actually know the kit is doing its job before wasting another ounce of cleaner? It starts with sound and feel. When the cleaner first starts flowing, most engines run slightly rough. The idle might surge or stumble because the solvent burns differently than gasoline. That uneven rhythm is completely normal and actually signals that the cleaning solution has reached the injectors. Within a few minutes, as the concentrated fluid dissolves built-up carbon, you'll usually hear the idle begin to settle into a smoother pattern. That transition is your first confirmable sign that the process is working as intended. As the treatment continues, new indicators appear. A small amount of white or light gray exhaust may puff from the tailpipe. This is carbon residue burning off as deposits loosen from inside the injector nozzles and combustion chambers. It should taper off gradually rather than continue thickly. Meanwhile, the engine note changes again. It often becomes steadier, and any sputtering that was noticeable earlier starts to fade. You can think of it as the engine finding its balance once the injector spray patterns even out. When cleaner levels in the canister begin to drop, the RPM range typically stabilizes, reinforcing that the solvent has circulated through the entire system. Many first-time users doubt what they're hearing. It's easy to wonder if the roughness means something's wrong, or if the engine is just burning leftover gasoline. The difference comes down to timing. When the cleaner has fully replaced fuel in the lines, the smell at the exhaust changes to a sharper chemical tone rather than pure gasoline. If you've reached that stage, you know the cleaner is now flowing correctly through each injector. Experienced technicians use this phase to listen closely, tracking the shift from uneven to uniform firing, a clear indication that the internal varnish is dissolving. Experts point out that when injector flow balance returns, combustion normalizes almost immediately. You can see that in the tachometer as the idle sits firm and steady with less vibration. That's the moment when the process is achieving measurable results. Cutting the cleaning short right before this balance point can undo all that progress. The cleaner needs enough circulation time to reach every injector passage and dissolve the remaining residue. Allowing the engine to run until it naturally stalls ensures that every last drop of solvent has been used effectively. Once the cleaner runs out and the engine slows to a stop, it's time to remove the kit, reinstall the fuel pump relay, and restart with regular gasoline. Usually, throttle response improves right away. Pressing the pedal feels more precise and instant. Over the next few drives, you may notice stronger acceleration, smoother shifts, and slightly better mileage as the engine adjusts to restored fuel delivery. Even emissions can drop because the cleaner combustion leaves fewer unburned hydrocarbons behind. This stage confirms success And it's the foundation for keeping those injectors cleaner between full treatments. An on-rail cleaning kit sits between basic tank additives and full injector removal, delivering near-professional cleaning results right at home. By feeding concentrated cleaner directly through the fuel rail, it bypasses the dilution problem and targets buildup with precision. It's a smart middle ground, simple enough for DIY use, yet powerful enough to restore proper spray patterns and fuel efficiency. Adopting this pro-level approach means cleaning injectors as soon as performance drops, not waiting until failure. Check your kit regularly, note your results, and repeat the process every few thousand miles to keep your engine running smooth and consistent.